The Ultimate Vampire Diaries Fan Weekend with Ian Somerhalder and Paul Wesley. The spark that started it all. Hey everyone. Welcome back to the channel. I hope you're ready because today, I've got a story time you won't forget, a dream come true for any die-hard The Vampire Diaries fan. I'm talking about meeting Ian Somerhalder and Paul Wesley, yes, Damon and Stefan Salvatore in the flesh, at what they called the Ultimate Vampire Diaries Fan Weekend. That I'm not exaggerating when I say it was magical, thrilling, emotional, and even a little surreal. I still can't believe it happened. So grab your snacks, curl up in your coziest blanket, and let me take you with me, to Mystic Falls. Well, almost. So, it all began one ordinary evening while I was scrolling endlessly through my Instagram feed. I was half asleep when I saw it. An announcement post, come to the Ultimate Vampire Diaries Fan Weekend, a full weekend with Ian Somerhalder and Paul Wesley, panels, meet and greets, photo ops, vampire ball, and more. My heart literally skipped a beat. I sat up straight, reread it at least 3 times to make sure it wasn't some elaborate fan edit. But no, it was real. My hands trembled as I clicked the RSVP link. The early bird passes were already running out, and within minutes, I had secured my spot, and that's when the countdown began. The excitement builds as the weeks went by. I threw myself into prep mode. What would I wear? Should I go full vampire, or keep it Mystic Falls casual? I even binge-watched the series from season 1 to 8, just to be ready for anything. I laughed, cried, and fell in love with the Salvatore brothers all over again. You know the drill. The night before the event, I could barely sleep. My suitcase was packed, my outfits were picked, my ticket was printed 5 times just in case, and I had even practiced what I would say if I met them. Hi Ian. Your work as Damon helped me survive high school. Too much. Finally, the day arrived. When I got to the venue, I was hit with this overwhelming wave of energy. Hundreds of fans had gathered, and I kid you not, it felt like walking into a dream. People were dressed as Katherine, Elena, Caroline, Bonnie, even a couple of Klaus and Elijahs walked past me. There was this one woman who had Damon's season 1 look down to the detail, right down to the ring. You could feel it, the community, the shared love, the obsession, the connection. I remember passing 2 girls who were passionately debating whether Elena should have ended up with Damon or Stefan, and I just smiled because we've all been there. As I walked deeper into the venue, I passed this life-sized replica of the Mystic Grill sign. And I swear, I could almost hear the background score of the show playing faintly in my mind. What's your favorite Vampire Diaries moment? Drop it in the comments. I want to see how many of us are on the same emotional roller coaster, meeting Ian Somerhalder and Paul Wesley. Okay, now let's talk about the moment I met the Salvatore brothers. First of all, nothing, and I mean nothing, can prepare you for standing in front of Ian Somerhalder and Paul Wesley in real life. You think you're going to be chill, composed, just another friendly fan, but the second I locked eyes with Ian's smoldering gaze, my brain short-circuited. I was third in line. I kept repeating in my head, don't freeze. Don't say something weird. Don't accidentally blurt out that you've dreamed of marrying Damon Salvatore since 2012. And then, it was my turn. Ian smiled, that Damon Salvatore smile, the one with just a hint of mischief, and I swear my legs went weak. Hey there, he said. Just like that. Paul was standing right beside him, radiating warmth and kindness like the Stefan we all fell in love with. Nice shirt, he said, pointing at my Mystic Falls high school tee. Thanks. I squeaked. You guys basically raised me. They both laughed. I mean laughed. And Ian said, well, we're honored to have been your slightly dysfunctional vampire dads. They took time with every fan. No one was rushed. They cracked jokes, shared hugs, and even signed a few handmade fan books. Then came the best part, they started telling behind-the-scenes stories. Ian said Paul used to tape notes to his trailer that just read, Stefan wins this episode. Deal with it. Paul fired back saying Ian had a stash of hidden snacks he refused to share with the crew. The crowd was in stitches that I even asked them if they ever kept anything from the set. Ian said he still has Damon's daylight ring. Paul. Let's just say, the leather jackets have traveled with me. If you could ask Ian or Paul any question, what would it be? Tell me in the comments. You never know, maybe they'll answer it in a future event. Now let me tell you about the panels, because these weren't just random Q&As, they were deep dives into the heart of the show. There were separate panels for character arcs, fan theories, directing episodes, and even a discussion called The Salvatore Legacy. We got to hear Ian and Paul reflect on how their characters changed them over the years. Paul talked about how Stefan's moral compass often challenged him, and how he grew more emotionally aware because of it. Ian revealed that playing Damon helped him release a lot of his own inner chaos, and he said, Damon is a mess. But he's a lovable mess. The audience asked some really thoughtful questions, too. One person asked how they handled the emotional scenes, especially deaths. Paul said the hardest scene he ever filmed was when Stefan died, and he broke character between takes because of how much the show meant to him. There was also a moment where someone asked, would you ever return to Mystic Falls if the story called for it? Both Ian and Paul smiled and said, never say never. Can you imagine a Vampire Diaries reunion series? IDIE.SO. Here's a question for you, which Salvatore brother do you relate to more, Damon or Stefan? I'm a little bit of both. Dark humor and loyalty. Damon. Protective and soft-hearted. Stefan, the vampire ball. Just when I thought things couldn't get any more magical, they did. The final night of the weekend was the vampire ball, and let me tell you, it was straight out of a Twilight meets Mystic Falls dream. The venue was bathed in candlelight. Red and black velvet draped the walls. There were fog machines near the entrance. And every guest came dressed to kill, vampire pun intended. That I wore a deep crimson gown, with a black lace choker and my own DIY daylight ring. I even added some subtle vampire fawn makeup. Others went all out, someone even arrived in a full Katherine Pierce corset and curls look, and guess what? Ian and Paul showed up at the ball too. No joke, they walked in together, arm in arm, did a toast on stage, and thanked the fans for their love and support. Ian said, this show belongs to all of you just as much as it ever did to us. You brought it to life. The music played, people danced, laughed, took selfies in front of a replica of the Salvatore boarding house, and for a few hours, we were all part of something bigger than just a show. We were part of a fandom family. That it was an ending worthy of the Vampire Diaries itself. Bittersweet, beautiful, unforgettable, let's keep this magic alive. So, that was my unforgettable experience at the Ultimate Vampire Diaries Fan Weekend. I still get chills thinking about it. Meeting Ian and Paul, dancing at the Vampire Ball, connecting with other fans, it reminded me why this show meant so much to so many of us. That if you ever get the chance to attend one of these fan events, do it. Don't even hesitate. Whether you're Team Damon or Team Stefan, whether you're a Bonnie stan or a Katherine sympathizer, there's something magical about stepping into a world you've only seen on screen. That I want to hear from you now. What's your favorite moment in the Vampire Diaries? Which character had the best arc? And if you could bring one person back from the dead, yes, even you, Enzo, who would it be? Drop all your thoughts in the comments, and hey, if you enjoyed this story, please hit that like button, subscribe for more story times and fandom adventures, and share this video with your fellow Mystic Falls lovers. Until next time, stay safe, stay spooky, and most importantly, stay fantastic. Blackheart Bat.